In this video, we'll be highlighting 16 fake and toxic food items found in China, and this was reported by different media outlets over the last 20 years. Now, you let me know which one was the worst one to hear for you in the comments. Also keep in mind, this is not a list that's complete in any way, shape, or form when it comes to all the problems when it comes to food in China. So make sure to be subscribed to our channel for the next video on this topic. Also like this video to help it spread with the algorithm. Number 1 is sulfur fumigated goji berries. Now, goji berry or wolfberry is a superfood with loads of antioxidants and micronutrients. It's loved by Chinese people for its health benefits. But since at least 2009, there's been reports of sulfur fumigated goji berries. It looks bright red compared to the normal ones, which look much darker. A week ago, a famous area producing goji berries, Ningxia, was found to be faking some of their goji berries with sulfur, which obviously is toxic to the body. Here they have the fume tents in broad daylight. Number 2, cooking oil mixed with fuel. Reporters in China discovered that as early as 2005, cooking oil has been transported in large oil tankers that had just finished transporting fossil fuel. The mixing of cooking oil and industrial-grade oil has many shocked when, in July of 2024, Beijing News reporter discovered Sinograin, a state-owned oil and food company, was involved in this scandal. Trucks carrying a tank of fuel and then go immediately haul a tank of cooking oil, which obviously leading to many people feeling disgusted. That also kind of dangerous because they've been slowly poisoned for consuming cooking oil, at least for 2 decades. Of course, this was a big scandal, but now it's been suppressed. A video here shows a truck entering a chemical plant carrying a tank that reads cooking oil only. And another video found a water transport truck actually used to transport human waste. And this was in the video where this was the part where they lift up the paper and then they found that the words that were written on the tanks before said human waste. Now, truck drivers obviously would not wash the inside of the tank due to the high cost of it. Now, speaking of oil, we have number 3, gutter oil. Gutter oil is when people recycle oil from the sewer and gutter to be used again for consumption. In most cases in China, it's for consumption, or it can be used if it's exporting to the outside for the purpose of creating recycled biofuel. Now, this is common in hot pot restaurants to save on the cost of the soup base. Something, of course, hasn't been dealt with by the Chinese government over the years. Now, the earliest reports on this dates back to 1998. So people would collect used oil from hotels and recycle it to become peanut oil. Some extension of this includes sewage oil, spit oil, recycled biofuel, etc. Number 4, lymphatic meat. China has a yearly gala of fakes and toxic stuff. On March 15th, nicknamed the 315 Gala, this year it highlighted the existence of lymphatic meat dishes. While in China there's a famous dish called pickled mustard green and pork belly. Now it's been replaced by pickled mustard green and lymphatic tissue meats, which are trims containing lymphatic tissues, lymph nodes, which are usually discarded during the butchering process. Lymphatic meat usually contains high amounts of toxins because it's part of the lymphatic system, and this has been found to be used in cooking. Number 5, fake Thai jasmine rice. Also from the 315 Gala, but this time from 2023, Anhui province had fake Thai jasmine rice. So the fragrance of the rice comes from not the natural rice, but from additives. And so the manufacturer would print product of Thailand labels on their bags and call it rice from Thailand. And obviously none of the process has anything associated with Thailand at all. In fact, the 2010 315 Gala, which is more than a decade ago, they had already exposed the use of fragrance additives on rice. Yet more than a decade later, the same issue persisted. Now, number 6 is going to shock you, so before we move on, let me do a short sponsor segment from Ground News. Our sponsor, Ground News, is an app and website that gathers related articles from thousands of sources around the world in one place so you can see how different media outlets frame and write their version of that same story. Every story comes with a clear breakdown of the political bias, credibility, and headlines of the reported sources. And the ratings are backed up by 3 independent news monitoring organizations. Yep, in this case, Chinese state media have also been rated as well. So let's take a look at this article, for example. China's own anti-doping agency is probing into the US as a way to get back at them for accusing their swimmers of testing positive for these banned substances, as we've covered. Now, Ground News found nearly 50 sources reporting on this, with coverage coming across the political spectrum. For example, here you have 41% coming from the left, 8% coming from the right. So let's take a look at this article from South China Morning Post. And they're, of course, based in Hong Kong. I often cite them in terms of reporting the actual story. I can see here on why they're accusing the US of an international sports scandal. I can either click and read more on why they're accusing the US of an international sports scandal, or I can keep scrolling to read on other news outlets and how they're framing this particular story. On the other hand, you can take a look at the Oregonian, which is based in the US, highly credible source, says an American Olympic sprinter in this latest doping controversy is surrounding is simply collateral damage as the US continue to feud with China. I really believe Ground News is the place you go to if you want to be more informed than the average news reader and to get multiple perspectives from different outlets all at the same time. Or just even finding some stories you otherwise would have missed. Since I've been using Ground News to do my research on videos about China, I've essentially gained a whole new understanding, or you could say a full spectrum of different perspectives, which is really helpful when you're thinking about which outlet is reporting what and how they're reporting it, compare and contrast that to Chinese state media. It's really allowed me to counter the disinformation coming out from the Chinese government. So go to ground.news.com/David Zhang. Or scan my QR code to subscribe today. If you sign up through my link, you'll get 40% off of the same Vantage plan that I use for unlimited access to all of their features. So show your support to an independent company that's trying to bring transparency back to media one article at a time.
Number 6, feet sauerkraut. Staying with the 315 Gala now in 2022, there is a pickled cabbage popular in ramen noodle flavors and other side dish options. It turns out they're marinated with the feet flavor in mind. This so-called old brand in the business is just unsanitary and unhealthy food making. The full name of the process is called PIT, Old Style Sauerkraut. Pit because obviously it's in a dirt pit where it's made. Old Style, I assume it's been made this way for a very long time. And sauerkraut, well, the sourness comes from fermentation, from the feet.
记者看到，工人们有的穿着拖鞋，有的光着脚踩在酸菜上，就连称量酸菜的磅秤也是直接放到酸菜上。
Number 7, fat loss lamb meat. Yeah, none of what we covered today was actually from undisclosed sources. These were all exposed by Chinese state media reporters. Now, back one more in 2021, the 315 Gala exposed the lamb meat that was fed with fat loss drugs. And this produced a leaner meat, which obviously yielded a better price point per pound. So, for example here, if we take clenbuterol, which is a drug for asthma but widely abused for fat loss purposes, most cooking won't reach the temperature of 174 degrees Celsius or 345 Fahrenheit to break down the drug. Interestingly, the use of fat loss drugs on animals dates back more than 2 decades prior to this particular lamb case, and again, it's one of those things that hasn't been solved in China. Number 8, dichlorovus sea cucumbers. Now, in 2020, again, 315 Gala reported sea cucumbers, which is actually loved, again, for its health benefits used in a lot of soups in China. It contained dichlorovus, which is a common insecticide in China. Now, the sea cucumbers are raised in ponds where farmers pour in the insecticide. The purpose is to kill other creatures, such as shrimps, crabs, or smaller organisms, and these are all killed by the insecticide. Because sea cucumbers have a high toxin tolerance, they can survive the chemical. And sea cucumbers also apparently catch diseases when pond waters change. Therefore, they also add in antibiotics too. What a wonderful, wonderful mix of chemicals, right? Dichlorovus is also used in things like sausage making and allegedly in the Maotai liquor too. It's an insecticide. I don't know why it's being used for all the food purposes, but that's in China. All right, number 9, fake Pasture eggs. Eggs, now there's been an obsession with free range, how the chickens are raised, pasture raised, what sort of environment these eggs come from, right? Well, in China, since at least 2015, there's been fake pasture raised eggs. People found out after cracking their eggs into a bowl that the bright orange colored yolks appeared fresh and different than the other ones. Obviously, the store-bought ones, the regular eggs, look yellowish. And so those are not so organic or pasture-raised, but these ones are. But also, in that same cracking, the white part has also turned orange or yellow. And it turns out eggs were faked with coloring to give that orangey yolk, but the injection obviously leaked into the white part as well. And as of 2019, faking pasture eggs with coloring was not yet punishable by law, which became an opportunity for different sellers to fake the eggs' origins. Now, when it comes to the normal food coloring, it's safe for consumption, but some of the bad actors choose the cheaper but toxic coloring option, such as the Sudan dyes. Now, this is a red dye for the non-food products because it gives a bright red color. Number 10, Sudan Red dye. Speaking of Sudan Reds, as early as 2005, the CCP government had banned the use of Sudan Red in food products. That same year, Heinz in China and KFC in China both were found to have condiments and products containing Sudan Reds. Now, you might think that after 2 decades, it's no longer a problem. Well, wrong. In 2024, products exported to Taiwan from China were found to contain Sudan Red. 2 decades, same problem persisting. Number 11, stinky feet salt. In 2017, batches of salt smelled like stinky feet. It was reported that a brand of deep well rock salt with iodine was produced by Henan Pingdingshan Shenying Salt Co. Limited, and the trademark name, quote, salt spokesperson, appeared in many provinces in different stores across the country. Now, the salt has a peculiar smell and emits a strong smell of what can be described as stinky feet, especially when it was heated or rubbed on by hand. And it turns out it is the improper treatment process which left hydrogen sulfide in the salt, and that, of course, created the stinky feet smell. Number 12, DDT Ginger. In 2013, a ginger farm in Shandong province was found to have used a highly toxic pesticide called Shenong capsule. Now, the pesticide on the label said it's not for the use of veggies or fruits. And according to a 2013 article having previously reported on toxic ginger, such as DDT ginger, sulfur ginger, and now Shenong pesticide ginger, the article points out that ginger exports to other countries are not sprayed with this pesticide as it would not pass the customs inspection and safety checks. So the fresh gingers for Chinese people are sprayed instead, because there's no inspection to stop them. Now, the tragedy is that ginger is used in a large number of Chinese cooking. Local farmers wouldn't ingest this ginger at all. And despite the obvious health reasons to eat ginger because of the benefits, now when you have a toxic chemical mix such as DDT or the Shenong pesticide, it just becomes a poisonous plant instead. Number 13, industrial gelatin yogurt. Industrial gelatin yogurt was found in 2012. Now, to save on costs, certain yogurt makers were making it with industrial-grade gelatin, which is carcinogenic and toxic to humans, instead, of course, using food-grade gelatin derived from animals. Now, this also applies to Jell-O snacks in China as well. Long-term consumption of industrial gelatin can lead to cancer and heavy metal deposits that damage your blood and bone structures. Number 14, melamine baby formula. In 2008, baby formula in China was found to contain melamine. The 2008 Chinese milk scandal was one that shocked the country and the world because it was a significant food safety incident. The scandal involved Sanlugoop's milk and infant formula along with other food materials containing melamine. And this resulted in kidney stones and other kidney damage in infants, and it also created this big head baby phenomena. And the chemical that was used to increase the nitrogen content of diluted milk, which apparently gave it more higher protein content, and that was used to pass the quality control testing. So according to data from 2008, almost 300,000 babies were ill due to contaminated milk powder in just that year, and that was according to the Chinese Health Ministry. And so big head babies, which was a common symptom, like I said, of the melamine victims, unfortunately wasn't actually the first case of toxic baby formula, because 4 years prior to 2008, there was also a scandal which inferior baby formula quality was also the cause of these big head symptoms. Number 15, fake duck blood and poisonous rice. Fake duck blood and poisonous rice has been around for a while. Fake duck blood looks real, but until you cut open the inside where cheese-like holes are supposed to be present, you won't be able to tell. Fake ones are made with chemicals, and according to this video, fake duck blood is actually quite common in China, especially in restaurants serving hot pots. Now, fake rice can also come in different forms. Some are toxic, makes you sick, get diarrhea. Some other ones just look like rubber. And last but not least, number 16, poisonous seed snacks. 24 years ago, reporters discovered poisonous seeds which were infiltrated with mineral oil in the province of Guangzhou. 7 brands of sunflower seed snacks containing mineral oil, which could cause things like stomach discomfort, diarrhea, mouth numbing, dry coughs, sore throats, etc. All right, that's it for our list of the 16 fake and toxic food items from China. Let me know which one was the worst for you to hear. And once I find more of these, well, I'll share them with you in our next episode. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.